Welcome to week 6 of our Cork City Marathon training plan. As always, joined by our handsome line of guests. Brian Hearn, how are you?
I'm good. I thought you were going to start with Ken there for the handsome part
He's been nice to Brian.
and then say something different about me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, of course, Ken Nason. Ken, how are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
I
Excellent.
think when the
Excellent.
compliments come, Ken, it's time to get worried.
Oh, it is totally.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of scared now at the moment.
I can be nice sometimes, all right? Is my new goal, all right? It's going to be
Something's
nice.
coming. Something's coming.
Yeah.
There
Anyway,
is
we're
something
moving.
coming, and that is called a training plan. Week 6, lads.
Week
Right.
6 is right. Yeah.
We had
We got great competition, great feedback from last week
mm,
as well, but we come back to those questions afterwards. So we'll throw out the plan again, I think is the best thing to do. And we'll catch
Yeah.
up on the competition as well, maybe in a minute also.
Okay. So we'll start off with the plan for week 6, Monday rest, Tuesday 35 minutes easy, conversational pace again. Our workout session this week is 15-minute warm-up, easy conversational pace. Our workout is 6 by 1 minutes of 90 seconds recovery. That's 90 seconds recovery after each 1 minute interval. Our warm down slash cool down is 15 minutes. Our Saturday run is 30 to 35 minutes. And we're increasing the endurance again on the long run, which is an hour and 40 minutes to an hour and 50 minutes.
um
Okay.
efforts for the 1 minute. What is it, Ken?
Yeah, we're going to go to about 75 to 80%.
Yeah.
You're not like you're kind of building into it. I don't want you to be absolutely all out effort, but it's a stronger pace than you were doing the actual 3 minutes effort.
Mm.
Like you want to kind of keep building into it. Some people may get to 5 reps and go, right, because they're trying to get used to it and go, I'm out on my feet. That's okay. I don't want you to run 6 and fall apart. We can
And
build
be
in
out on
movement
your
the following
feet.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing left. Yeah. Yeah.
Like just to give people a reason for this session compared to the 3 minutes last week. So last week it's going to build up. It's going to be like more of endurance, and this is going to be like more of your speed. So that'll make the your marathon pace seem a lot easier then as well. So this will be nearly about every second week where it's introducing, and that's going to just help you do the longer runs and make them feel way easier.
Yeah.
So I think, look, get is we just need again interaction with people. If you have any questions, make sure you send them in to us. We're more than happy to answer them. But again, on Tuesday, it's 30 to 35 minutes. Wednesday, 15-minute warm up. Then you have 6 by 1 minute on 90 seconds recovery. So that's 1 minute, 90 seconds by 6. 15 minutes cool down. Then you have
Please don't
Saturday,
say one down.
which is 30 to 35 minutes. And then Sunday, you have an hour 40 to an hour 50. So that's the plan for next week. And don't forget, it is Patrick's Day. So, on
Mhm.
Sunday, Bank Holiday Monday, again, people have plans. So change that around to suit you.
Just on that long run, then, Ken, any specific,
Yeah.
obviously we're getting into the longer, hitting the 2 hour mark almost now at this stage, just under it. So any particular advice for that run?
Well, in relation to that, Damien probably would come in there. Damien, what do you think in relation to gels and things like that? Should they be introducing gels
Yeah,
in
I
different
will.
points?
And you know what? That is one of the questions we'll come into. I'll answer that in a minute. And the reason
Yeah,
we'll answer that in a minute, because it is, you know, a detailed enough answer. There's a few other things. So
yeah,
we will come into it. For me, for that, Brian, as well, is you need to be eating well enough a couple of days beforehand, be plenty hydrated as well, you know, and just watch yourself for that, because you do want to be going into that, fresh. I know you've the 30 to 35 minutes, but that's just to loosen out your legs after a couple of days. But get plenty of sleep a few days beforehand. Get your hydration, because these runs will get longer, and they're
Yeah.
going to get harder. So, just bear that in mind.
I think, yeah, look, I think even if people are listening in over the last few weeks, they would have picked up a few tips anyway. But again, like the planning of it, as Damon said there about sleeping, your hydration, planning your route even ahead of
Mm.
time, about certain things that you'll need. You're running longer, you'll need water on the run. Are
Yeah,
you going to do a loop? Maybe keep the water at your car and keep looping back to the car. Are you going to carry it? So just plan, no matter what, plan your
yeah,
gear as well. The weather isn't great at the moment. It makes things harder. So plan your gear ahead of time as well.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But
And
we
if people are struggling with getting up this time and they're like some things, and they need to ask us about paces and trying to readjust their paces to get there, then please ask those questions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With that,
So,
we did get some.
competition.
All right, going to get the competition out of the way first.
Would you
So yeah,
relax,
yeah.
cheap,
I'm
Brian?
eager. There's
So,
loads of people interacting with us this week, so I want to get to the. Yeah.
all
Gotta
right.
keep you on your
So
toes, Damien.
we had a lovely competition last week, which, as people would know, was for the triple magnesium. All right, and we done a draw earlier, and here's that draw. Well done to Marathon Man. I'm not sure of your full name. You're under Marathon Man. So if Mr. Marathon Man can message us on any of our social media channels, and we make sure we get that triple magnesium out to you.
I wonder, is there a half marathon man out there or a mini marathon man? Yeah.
No, we're not done yet, Brian.
Stop again.
We're not
You're not
done
at it
yet.
again, yeah.
And I'm not going to let you know, lads, this is a nice one. This is
Okay.
a nice prize, okay? So, another competition week. Some of you might have been at the Edge Sports event we had yesterday. We had a few Brooks runners, we had all them lads, and we also had Padraig from Bodylight, who helped us with the competition a few weeks ago. And Padraig very kindly gave me said gilet jacket that I have on me right now. All right.
Nice.
So really, and then not just lads, this is actually a lovely fit. I'll try to get up and show it off a little bit. This holds
I
this
might have to
actually,
enter this competition myself, I
yeah,
think.
this holds the light as well that the person that we were giving away at the time, there's Velcro in the front, it goes across it, it holds it. It's worth, I think it's 77 euros, 78 euros is what it's
Okay.
the price of it. We have the yellow, which I'm wearing, or you have, I think, is it a pink zip one as well. And what Padraig is doing, he's going to send out whichever one the person wants themselves out to them directly after we get the winner next week. So again, this is a lovely prize, lads, and I'm going to do a few reviews on this myself. I only got this one yesterday, so I'm going to run in it, lads, and I'm actually going to run this week.
For Body Light, in fairness, give him a plug again, Body
So
Light.
Bodylight, Irish company, Padraig, in fairness to him, is doing a very good job with it. So a massive thank you to him. So all you have to do is comment and subscribe to the show, and you're into the draw, which we will announce next week. But we'll also mention this in the podcast, I think, because I think this is definitely one that is well worth winning. But that's Bodylight. We put the link up in our stories as well for it. And pay them a visit because they have plenty of gear as well. And plenty high vis, always be safe and be seen.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, really, that deserves support, and so well done, Padraig. We'll go to questions next. So there was quite a good few questions came in this week and interactions. So the first one is from Olin Hagerty. So he says, I've got a running belt to carry my water and finding it great. Just wondering, is there any other gear you have found very helpful on your own runs?
Bodylight jacket there, lads.
There you go. Yeah.
Get the plug in.
Yeah, I might jump in even myself here. So obviously, again, it depends on people's strategies on the day, but like carrying a water belt for training is a great idea because, obviously in the race day itself, just be aware that there will be multiple water stations on the course. So carrying water, some people still do it. And if that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine. But other people, obviously, you don't need to carry water. There should be water available. And I know there's going to be extra water available this year. So that's one thing. But obviously, gels would be handy, and we're going to get onto that in a minute. I'm saying June weather could be good. Sweatbands, sunglasses,
hats.
body glider,
Hats.
Vaseline, hats. Yeah, exactly. Plasters for the nipples for the lads. That's a big one.
Vital.
The amount of people, it's hard enough to run a marathon, and when you see the amount of people who come over the line, bloodied jerseys and singlets, like Vaseline, body glide, or I prefer just putting plasters on, take no chance whatsoever.
Brian, I will say as well that we're going to recommend a race, like we just say even the Great Railway Run, which is about 4 or 5 weeks out from Cork Marathon, and that is a day where you need to have everything dialed in. It's your pre-race. You're going to try the shoes that you're going to wear for the event, the socks you're going to wear, the shorts you're wearing, the singlets you're going to wear. Everything you plan to use in the marathon, you're going to use at this target race, and even it could be around the country as well. So now is the time you need to get these things sorted. You have to, I know the weather's not the same, but you still have to be thinking ahead constantly. Shorts for me are so important.
Yeah.
Like to get a short that's not cutting you or that's not chafing you or anything like that. It's the making or breaking of your race because like you can chafe so badly
Yeah.
and will be in bits after it. So get these little details right now and you're going to be laughing. So for me, it's shorts is so important. And I went through loads of different shorts that I found now the short that is best for me. So shorts vital.
I think it's important to say, like, while you might wear certain gear on your training runs for whatever it is, an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, and everything's fine. When you start going into the hour and a half and the 2 hours upwards, these things might not be fine. So you're 100% right. Yeah, definitely try these things out.
Yeah.
Which takes us to the second part of that question. You've kind of just thrown it in there. The second part of that question from Olin was, are there any other races before June that we have that you have bookmarked as a good tester with the Cork Marathon in mind? The obvious one is the one you mentioned there, the Great Railway Run.
Yeah.
I think it's about 25K, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, very good run. And again, to be fair, I know Ed Fitz, a good friend of ours, organises Pacers that day as well. And they organise the Pacers to replicate the minutes that they would be running in the marathon. So they don't just kind of, they'll go 8-minute miles if that's what they are, or, the pace, the time that they'll pick will be equivalent of the marathon, not 25K event itself. So that's another good reason to go to that one. But there's plenty more. And I suppose, look, again, we'll reach out to people all over the country. If there's any upcoming half marathons or distance above that, half marathon upwards is, I think a half marathon is probably an ideal event 5 weeks, 6 weeks beforehand, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. And Ken, I know we were speaking briefly, like we would nearly encourage people in the next few weeks even to go out and try to do a 10-mile race if they could. And that's just giving you a guide to where you're at. And you need that along the way. So like a 10K is a good, it's a good distance. It's long. It's still long enough where you're getting that endurance as well. And then you can gauge your marathon pace ever so slightly off that then.
You also that but you want to get used to racing. You want to get used to the racing experience.
Yeah.
And that will help you then towards the marathon as well.
I think it does two other things as well. One, it brings you into that race environment where you're preparing the night before or the morning of what I should eat, what time I should get up, getting to the event, all that time. It also breaks the monotony of just going out in the long run, and the long run when you can bring in now and again. Obviously, you can't be racing regularly and every week, but when you can bring in the race, it just changes up the scenario really a bit.
Yeah, you need to change it up every now and again with races.
Yeah. Okay. We have another one. Someone asking about, so it's Marathon Man, actually the winner of this week's competition. So Marathon Man, there needs to be a movie about that, I think. But wondering what are the pain points on the course I need to watch out for, and any mental tips to give in terms of driving myself on. So I suppose, do you want to take that one, Darren?
Okay, so for me, there's two areas where the Cork Marathon are at it's slightly more difficult, right? One of them is, when you pass Musgrave Park,
Cross Musgrave Park area,
there's that about 4 mile in around there, where there's that short, snappy little hills. You're coming down by the city hall, the county hall, out up that climb, the back of that, and then once you get to the top of the hill up by MTU, before that you're grinding again. So there is that 4 mile gap, and it comes late in the stage. But Cork to Carrigaline, and I'm using this for example because this is what I've done before. The hill there comes at a very good time because it's at nearly the same stage as they come in Cork. So it is very good for that. Now, the other pinch point, and one that people forget, is a straight road. So the straight road
for a different reason,
for a totally different reason.
Yeah.
It is, and I know it's obvious, it's a straight road, but it just seems to go on forever. And the county hall is in front of you, and it's going nowhere. It's staying, as far away as it possibly can constantly. So that is a mind. I won't say the word, but so that can play tricks with you for two of them. And so it's simple things. No, again, in your training run them if you can. If you're around these areas, run them. All right. But mentally picture something else. Do not look at the county hall. Don't look at it. Look at the fields beside you, the water, stuff like that, just to distract you.
As I said and I think that's another tip for someone. We have done 2, I think, reviews of the Cork Marathon in the last couple of years. So go back on that. We spoke to our marathon leaders there. As I said in one of them, when you're coming in the straight road, look at all the people in the car who can't go anywhere on the other side of the road who get very angry. So smile. And But yeah, you're dead right. I think the first half of Cork is a nice half. It's in the second half that little
Yeah,
section, as you said.
yeah.
I think the other thing is, they're rolling hills, but there's a lot of twists and turns as well, I think, which becomes a bit, you break your stride a small bit and
Mm.
you lose a bit of focus. So it's mentally, I suppose. The other thing, the second part of that question is, mental tips. What do you say? Kind of maybe, run with people. Obviously, stay. I think people who wear headphones, I don't get that part. But I think interact with the crowd and interact with the people around you is a great way to take your mind off it. But some people run with headphones, they might like it. But I do think talking to people around you is a great way of distracting yourself as well.
For me, I was kind of started to focus on my breathing, and like that's something I would do. Start, a month or two out, and every night I'd be 5-10 minutes before I go to bed, and just breathing exercises. And I've said it before. One of my best races I've ever ran was the time when I focused so much on just my breathing as I was getting to the second half and it was getting tough, and I just felt so much better. But this is
Yeah,
something that you need to start doing now again, and it's just simple. Like if someone wants to send to me, I'll tell you what it is. Like it's very simple breathing exercise, but it just keeps you focused and it distracts you from everything. Distracts
yeah,
you from the pain in your body. Ken, do you have anything?
Yeah, no, like I'd say in the early part of the races, some of the mistakes some people make is obviously going out too quickly, or at some of the earlier hills, you're kind of forcing up some of those earlier hills and keeping a very strong pace, where all that's going to eat into your legs at a later stage. So I think going out more controlled and things like that.
Oh yeah, slow down.
Regardless, yeah.
Yeah,
The last 5 or 6 miles is mind over body, right? You are going to be hurting, but you've got to think, if you're hurting, just think of something different, think a second past it, and you will go through hard periods in a marathon. But if you just go, right, I'm going to hang tough here, maybe 5 or 10 seconds later, you'll get into rhythm
yeah,
again.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
There's loads of other ones as well, and I'm sure we will
Yeah.
as the weeks go by, and maybe when we get close to the day, like run the mile you're in, run the kilometer you're in, dedicate a mile or a kilometer to somebody important to you, and just kind of you'd be surprised how these things can inspire you as well. But certainly, I would say for anyone that's wondering, go back and look at some of our previous episodes we did in the build up to Cork last year. We had a couple of specials on. We had John Quigley on and reviewed the actual course as well. So definitely have a look over that. And there's some good tips. We go mile by mile. And I think it was Andy and yourself, Damien, did another one
Yeah,
where you went mile by mile on the course as well and gave a good breakdown of
yeah.
that. So
We might even actually put that out again and put it
we will.
into them
Yeah.
episodes
Yeah, sure.
soon enough. Actually, I think we can do it even in the section below here. We could see about it.
Yeah, we can link it
Yeah.
back to the podcast episodes. Yeah. The final question I think that came in was from Sam Coakley, who's a great follower there in the last couple of weeks as well. When should you start introducing gels into training? And I know we touched on that already. So
No,
no, yeah.
straight away. As gels should be introduced to your training as early as you can. Straight
I
off
think
is the honest
yeah,
answer
I
to
think the
that.
big thing too is though, isn't it, like we're talking about a lot of novice runners here and beginners as
Mm.
well as, like for some people they may have never even tried a gel
Yeah.
before. It
And
might
that's
not
the
agree with them
point.
at all. Yeah, yeah.
And that's why it needs to be
Yeah.
tried now, not in 6 weeks' time, because in 6 weeks' time you're down to nearly there. Do you know that way? So it has to be tried now. So again, I've said this before. It's taken me 7 gels to realize gels don't agree with me. Do you know what I mean? So I have to use the drinks. So that will be happening, and the gel will work with you for 2 weeks, and then the third week it could destroy you. So you need to use it now. There's plenty of gels out there, and I mean so many different gels. Try easier ones on your stomach first and see, can you take a gel? A lot of people cannot even physically take it.
Yeah.
Not even, don't forget about the taste. They can't physically put it down into their mouth.
And I think it's important, Damien, just on that point as well, like that, again, for people who are novice and maybe just don't know, don't panic. Like if the gels don't work for you, like I hope a lot of people who are doing it for the first time aren't chasing a time, they're just running for the experience. If you have a family member or a friend out in course who carries a banana and you can stop and meet them for, don't think like a lot of the gels, I don't mean they're aimed at, stronger runners or anything like that, but like it's okay to stop and run. If you just want to finish the marathon and say you've done it.
I'll say this much,
Yeah,
Brian, all right, and you are right, because like you think if this plan is geared towards, we say 4.5, 5 hours and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's a lot of gels you're going to be taking in that time, and it's nearly it's X if you're going to have to break it up in between it. you know,
Yeah.
it's somewhat, because the next part of the question is like, when do you take your gel? No, there's two different answers to that. There's one you're training and there's one your race. In your race, you're nearly every half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Every
is
half
hard
an
going.
hour, which
Yeah.
is hard going. If you're out there for 5 hours and you're every half an hour, that's 10 gels you're getting into you, right? You know, so that's quite a lot. So bear that in mind. You might, if you said someone out in the course, they might give you a drink that you will carry, which will have a carb drink in it. That will substitute out from that. On your training, you reduce that way down. You're looking at 1 to 2 gels that you're just going to take, and it's just to keep you from depleting totally, and you're just getting used to the gel. So you don't take it every half an hour. You probably take one every hour if you're going to be doing it. Anything over an hour and a half, realistically, you're definitely going to need to take something.
Yeah. And I might not be popular for saying this, but I actually think if you're a first timer or a novice, you should nearly be looking for, you're not, as you said, you're not going to get 10 gels in. It's just, I would say there's very few
Probably
people
not.
who can handle that. So I would nearly be saying, you know, if you can have someone out in the course who has something that you can just, you know, and if you're willing to walk through a water station, get your fuel in that way, that's something that works with you. But again, it's trial and error, and it's all back to what we said earlier about planning and testing things out.
Yeah, but there's been plenty of times where I've heard someone takes a gel from someone else in the middle of a race and it doesn't agree with them. So you got to be careful of things like that as well.
Yeah,
Try
definitely.
it, try it, try it.
Yeah.
Do not be coming into me or any sports shops the
The day
day
before.
before the marathon. Go, I need something to get me through the race. Do not do
Yeah.
that. We're giving you enough advice and notice, and enough notice here now. Make sure that you're getting it in plenty of time.
No shoes, no gels the day before.
Exactly. So I think, so Sam, you are right. Look, it's try the gels, and it is in training. You're probably about, once you're in your longer runs, you are going to be taking one at the moment. I would say would be enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, if you
Okay.
want to take two, take two. But it's
Yeah.
just,
Well, when you get used to one, maybe you can add a second
Exactly.
and something like that. Yeah, just
Yeah,
see
you're
how you react
trialing
to
it
it.
now, so you
Yeah.
got to see what works.
Yeah.
right. So
That's all the questions.
that's it. I think, Ken, you are not with us next week. So
No, I'm swanning off on holidays. Yeah.
he's swanning off on holidays. So enjoy the Joe Holliers. We
Will
pay
do.
you well enough for this.
6
So
weeks of 6 weeks of pay has paid for a holiday from
Of course,
unbelievable.
of course it has.
Yeah.
To a secret
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
I'll send you a video from there and you'll know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, look, again, enjoy the holidays. Thanks very much. And
do.
Brian, we will talk to you again on Sunday, and we see everybody next week. And don't forget to enter the competition, because it's well worth it.